Welcome to Beyond the Benefits. My name is Colleen Patterson, and I'm the Vice President of Employer Services and Compliance at Savoy. I'm really excited to talk with my guests today because we're going to be talking about our Florida market. And joining me today is Sean Callahan, who is our account executive in our Florida market. Say hi, Sean.
Good morning, Colleen. Hello, everyone.
Great. Thank you. So Sean and I were talking a few weeks ago, and he was sharing about how there's been a lot happening down in the Florida market, and we've been kind of expanding down there, and there's been a lot of activity. But one of the things that I was talking to Sean about is I kind of would like to get to know a little bit more about Sean, because Sean's relatively new here to Savoy. So give us some fun facts about your background, Sean, and what do you want to share with us today?
Yeah, I don't know how fun it is, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself, Colleen. So I'm originally from Connecticut. I was there until I finished college at University of Connecticut. So go Huskies. After college, I basically packed up my car and headed south, moved away from the cold, and landed in Atlanta, where I was there about 8 years or so, which is actually the time that I started my insurance career back in 2001. Moved down to the Tampa area in 2005 and have been here ever since. Personally, I have a wife and a daughter. My daughter just started at UCF over in Orlando. This fall was her first semester. And then outside of work, I enjoy spending time with my family and my daughter when she's around now, and traveling and playing golf and those types of things. So anything outdoors here in Florida except during the summer.
We're a little bit of the opposite. So I'm originally from Florida, and my family moved back up here when I was a kid. So I went from the warmth to the cold, and you did the opposite. So it sounds like you're a little smarter than I am.
Depends what time of year who the smart one is, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That is so true. And my daughter also is a freshman in college this year. So that's exciting. We are going through the same things in our world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's a typical day for you like at Savoy? What do you get into now that we're talking about the Florida market and there's a lot of activity and things that are happening down there? So share a little bit about what's going on.
Yeah, it's strange. There's not really a typical day in this type of business, it doesn't seem. Every new day seems like there's new challenges and new opportunities that present themselves. So it's hard to really, pinpoint a typical, quote unquote, typical day for me. But I go into each day really with just kind of a goal. And my goal here, and I think the goal of most folks at Savoy, are to spend each day figuring out a way, to kind of help our partners maintain and grow their business. That's our goal. So whatever that takes from, like I said, each day can be different, but whatever that takes on my end to help our broker partners, that's kind of what I'm going into each day trying to do. And the great thing about Savoy is we have a ton of resources to provide to our broker partners to help them achieve that, which is really exciting for me to be able to have the opportunity to help.
So, Sean, can you tell me a little bit more about the team that you work with? We've certainly got a lot of teams here at Savoy, but how do they help you with all of the things that you're working on a daily basis?
Yeah, that's a great question, Colleen. We have a great team at Savoy, many great teams, as you mentioned, which was actually a big reason why I was so excited about the opportunity to be part of this organization. A lot of long tenured individuals within the organization that have a lot of knowledge and experience in their different areas. So no matter what the area of need, whether it's product, consulting, administrative services, compliance, education, anything, technology, we have the resources and subject matter experts in those areas. So it really makes my job a lot easier. I don't have to necessarily be an expert on everything, but as long as I can find my internal counterpart that is the expert, it's a tremendous resource for not just me, but more importantly, for our broker partners and their clients.
I got to tell you, having been on the broker side prior to coming to Savoy, and now obviously, I focus really on the compliance and education here at Savoy. I'm grateful to have you and your counterparts on the insurance side of things, because I'm not in that part of the day-to-day like I once was, where, you're doing quoting and you're negotiating and you're going through all the contracts and things like that. So I'm grateful to have all of you here supporting us as well, just as much as we get the opportunity to support you.
Yeah, Colleen, it's definitely a team. As you know, it's completely a team effort. That was when I was interviewing at Savoy, that was one question that was asked of me, like, how do you see yourself working within the team environment? And I mean, that's a big part of what we do. and it's something that I've always done in my career is bring in resources with, utilize every team member that you have to help get the job done. It doesn't always have to be you alone trying to solve a problem. No matter who you got to bring in, as long as the problem's getting solved, that's all that matters.
It's so true. I was talking with a broker and a client just last week prior to the holiday break. And that's one of the things that we were talking about is even though some of these rules and regulations have been around for so long, there are nuances to them. And it truly does take a village of experts to be able to look at answering these questions and, solving an issue, but also ensuring that the benefits program that you're putting in place meets the needs of not only the compliance side of things, but obviously all of the stakeholders in that relationship. You've got, the C-suite, and then you've got the employees, mid-level managers. There's a lot going on. So the tier approach definitely makes a big difference here that I've seen in my 10 plus years here at Savoy as well. So what do you think then, as we're talking about all these folks here at Savoy and all the great things that we get to do every day, what's your favorite part of your role, though, that you get to do here at Savoy when you're helping brokers and clients?
Yeah, I think it's different from what I've done in my past. So I've been in the insurance business for the last 22 plus years, and I've spent my entire career on the carrier side, which was great. I thoroughly enjoyed what I did on the carrier side and probably wouldn't trade it for anything. But the difference there, in that carrier role, my job was really to help brokers understand the products and services that were being offered through my company. So I did my best to educate brokers on our offerings as well as the competitors that worked in that space or in that silo. With Savoy, and this is kind of what I really enjoy about it, is we have so many different carriers, technology companies, TPAs, other partners that we work with that can be a solution to our broker partners and their clients. It's not just coming in with one company or one solution. It's really offering a multitude of different solutions to whatever issue might be existing with a broker's client or their book or, things that they're seeing in the market. So just being able to come to the table with a lot of different solutions and ideas, it's very refreshing. And being able to do that, it makes each day a little different. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, there's always different things that come up in this business. And just to be able to provide resources in whatever area a broker might need, that's what I really enjoy.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that's what makes our job kind of fun is that, part of it is you've got this big, toy box or toolbox even of all of these different products, services, and solutions. And, it's never a one size fits all anymore. So it's like a big puzzle, and I love puzzles. So it's a big puzzle to put together all the time. And it actually makes what we do fun because what we do is certainly hard. And you guys, with working with all of the different carrier partners, have a lot certainly to remember. And it's very impressive just to see all of you at work and then see what's the lever you're going to pull to solve this problem today.
Yeah. And as you know, Colleen, it's such a relationship business too. Just to be able to have so many different relationships within the market, like you mentioned, whether it's with a carrier or whether it's with a technology company, obviously with our brokers and their clients. So there's a lot of different relationships that you're able to develop to help you get the job done, which I love doing that. So that's a great part of what we do.
It is. So I think one of the things that we've talked about before is Savoy is an independent agency, which it allows us to be flexible, exactly what you're talking about. And you can tailor all the solutions as you were mentioning. But what do you think are some of the unique plans and solutions that help brokers protect their business? One, because Savoy is independent, and does that help? But what are some of the other things that you've come across that you think are very helpful for brokers?
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, and just that how this business is just constantly changing in this industry. So whether it's technology, whether it's regulatory or compliance requirements or products or wellness programs, there's things that are constantly changing in the market and in this industry. And I think a big challenge for our brokers is staying up to date and being aware of what those different plans are, different products, different technology solutions, what those are. So I think a big one that's out there in the market today are the level funded or balance funded medical plans. They're becoming much more prevalent in the small to mid-market space for groups. So I think, while those plans might not be a solution for every client that's out there. If you're a broker and you're not at least out there talking about those plans, I can guarantee you that somebody else is. So if you're not familiar with those, we're experts in those. We can provide you the resources or connect you with the people that you need to be connected with as a broker to talk about those plans and be educated about those plans so you can talk to your clients about them. So I think that's one big one in terms of from product. And then the other thing, and we talked about it before too, is just compliance. There's constantly changes to regulations, and that's tough to keep up with as a broker. I mean, as anybody, that's tough to keep up with, as you're well aware, Colleen, since you work in that space every day. But if you're a broker out there and you don't have the resources to stay in tune with what's required from a compliance standpoint, we can certainly provide that to you or be a resource for you and your clients in that space, kind of like your back room for those types of inquiries.
So you had mentioned that this is a relationship business, which you're absolutely right. And there's always a lot going on. And I think you said, it certainly takes a village. So what kind of advice do you have for brokers, either that have been doing this for a little while or even somebody that's relatively new getting into the business or even just getting started?
Yeah, I think it's funny, every client is different. Every broker is different as well. Each agency will have a different level of experience or internal resources that might be available to them. Each client base is different. So every broker is going to have different needs depending on their client base, depending on how long they've been in business, their experience level, just their capacity. So I think the big thing, I guess if I was giving advice, it would be just do self-scouting of your organization. So, I mean, everyone's familiar with sports and, it's always important to scout your competition, but it's equally important to self-scout. So you want to evaluate your own organization like you would any of your competition. And what I mean by that is look internally to see where there might be deficiencies or where you could be vulnerable. And I think once you're able to determine those areas of need or where you might not be as strong as you want to be, identify those and then develop a partnership with somebody that can help you in those areas where you wouldn't have any shortfall in terms of those areas. I think one thing we talked about it earlier, Savoy, you mentioned it, we're an independent agency. We're very boutique. So no matter what circumstance you are in as a broker in terms of where those areas of growth or areas of opportunity might be, we can provide that assistance. We can be your back room for whatever areas of need you might have as a broker. And we can tailor your experience with Savoy however works best for you. So, but the first step to that is, as a broker, identifying those areas of need so that you can address them with a partner that can help.
That is excellent advice. I love that. Self-scout your agency, because everybody always knows their competition. But wow, just hearing you say the importance of, checking things in your own house and making sure things are in order the way that you would want them to be. It's something that sounds intuitive, but that sounds like great advice because it's probably one of the things that everyone overlooks.
Well, Colleen, it's like when you're on an airplane and they say, put on your mask first before that's like, take care of what you're doing first, and then you can make sure that you can be there for others. So it's just, I think we do it without even knowing that we're doing it. You're constantly trying to figure out how to grow and how to be better. But I think just, whether it's a couple times a year, just kind of looking internally and saying, hey, where do I need to improve? Can I do it just internally, or should I go out and find a partner that can help me in that area to kind of round out all the other things that you do well?
Yeah, it's great ideas come from that, and that builds strategy and great advice, Sean. Thank you. So that's going to wrap things up for us for our discussion this morning. So thanks for spending some time with me, Sean. It was great to get to know a little bit more about you, and looking forward to continue our partnership and working together with you and the rest of the team down there and across Savoy, of course. So this is going to wrap things up for us on Beyond the Benefits today. Sean, again, thanks for joining me, and I appreciate all the time you spent this morning.
Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate it.